praise, 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 praise. In love the Lord, my hands I raise, 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 raise. I'm singing all my favorite tunes, 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 tunes. Give me some space for all my moves, 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 moves.
Here we go. It goes up and up and up. Take it, be ready, hit 'em.
I throw my hands up in the air sometimes, saying praise God, let's all praise God.
Hey,
I wanna celebrate.
what's up, what's up, what's up?
Saying praise God.
Thank you for tuning in to F3C's Kidzone The Experience. I am Reverend Wick KNE, and this is
Brandie.
In the Place to Be. We are back with another great lesson. I hope you enjoyed last week's lesson, but with this month, we got that new topic that we're talking about,
That's
which is
right.
what?
R-E-S-P-C-T.
Okay.
Tell me what it means to me.
R-E-S?
I said P-C-T.
Uh-huh.
Tell me what it means to me.
Those of you that can't spell, she's spelling out respect. Okay, I just wanted to make that perfectly clear. Because I was like, what is the word already? She keeps singing it. Hey, we're spelling out respect. And
Yes.
our memorization verse for the month is
Luke 6:31. I had to catch my breath.
And it says what, B. Randy? You got this
Do
all month.
unto others as
Yeah.
you would have them do unto
To
you.
you. Okay,
Do
that's right.
unto others
Hey, as you would have them do unto you. That's right. That's right.
Unto others
Hey.
as you will have them
Do
do
unto you. All right.
Yeah.
Now, we gave that lesson last week and we talked about my man Ephraim. We got another great lesson for you guys, so don't go nowhere, okay? But before we get into our lesson, I got a joke.
What's the joke?
Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready for this.
Okay, I'm getting ready to hit you. You ready?
Let me
Here
get
we
my-
go.
Let me get my thinking pose.
Here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Why did the bicycle stop rolling?
He ran out of wheels.
No, he was too tired. Ah, that was a good one right there, boy. Get it? Bicycle, too tired? Yeah, I think they got it.
I like
All
it.
right, yeah. Ooh, I had to catch my breath on that one. That made me laugh. I told you, when I heard that one, I was just cracking up. I said, well, I'm using this one. All right. So we talked about our memorization verse, which is?
Luke 6:31.
Okay, and our topic that we're talking about is?
Respect.
Okay. All right, and then now, none of this would be justice without this part right here. B. Randy, let them know what we're getting ready to go into. Come on.
Praise.
Hey.
Praise and worship. Praise and worship.
Okay.
Praise and worship.
That's right. Praise and worship coming up next. Look, right after praise and worship, we're coming back with a great lesson for you guys. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Praise and worship. Stand up.
Before the earth was made, you knew my life, my name. Before the waters roared, you knew who I would be. And to show us who you are, you formed the moon and stars, all the world around us that we see. 'Cause by your word, you made day and night, and by your breath, brought us all to life. You made everything, and you made me, and everything that you have made is for your glory. You made everything, and you made me. The breath I breathe, the song said seek and I will find hope for this heart of mine. God, I know you have a plan for me. 'Cause by your word you made day and night, and by your breath you brought us all to life. You made everything, and you made me, and everything that you have made is for your glory. You made everything, and you made me. The breath I breathe, the song I sing, is for your glory. It's for your glory, God. 'Cause by your word you made day and night, and by your breath you brought us all to life, and by your cross you made a way for me, and by your blood you have set us free. You made everything, and you made me, and everything that you have made is for your glory. You made everything, and you made me. The breath I breathe, the song I sing, is for your glory. It's for your glory, God. Turn my eyes to see you, Jesus, in all your glory. Turn my eyes into my heart to sing in wonder of how you love me. To my heart. Oh my God, forever you reign. Here and now, hear the sound of your name. Jesus, there is none more beautiful than Jesus. There is none more powerful, the risen Christ, lifted high. Jesus, now be glorified. Center my life on your name. Center my life on your name. Turn my eyes away from searching for lesser glory. Turn my eyes and teach my heart with all your wisdom to live for heaven. Teach my heart. Oh my God, forever you reign. Here and now, hear the sound of your name. Jesus, there is
What's up, what's up, what's up? We are back, we are back, we
That's
are back.
right.
I know, I'm tired.
Me
You
too.
tired? Me too.
Need some water.
Ooh-wee. I need some water too, but
Y'all
you know
probably
what?
need some water too, because y'all was standing
Yeah,
up.
yeah, go get you some water and sit down because now it's time for story time. But before we get into our lesson, we're going to reiterate our topic for the month is
Respect.
respect. That's right. And our memorization verse is
Luke
uh-huh,
6,
uh-huh.
31.
That's right, Luke 6:31. Go ahead and tell them what it says. You got this
Do
all
unto
month.
others
Uh-huh.
as you will have them do unto you.
That's right. Remember we talked about Ephraim last week, and we talked about his story and how he didn't have that respect. Now we got another great lesson for you guys. So today we're going to talk about a young boy named Joseph.
I like Joseph.
I do too. I like Joseph. So Joseph was one of 12 boys. He was the youngest of 11, and then that 12th boy was actually younger than him. Okay? Now, Joseph was the favorite son to the father. So his brothers was quite jealous of him because, Joseph got that special treatment. I mean, he was more favored than even the young. Normally the youngest kid is always the favorite to get away with stuff. No, not. Joseph was the one that his dad, Jacob, really loved. In fact, Joseph was so loved that his dad, on his 17th birthday, made a coat for him. A nice coat with all the colors of the rainbow. Okay?
Oh, so nice.
Yeah, that was nice. But the thing is, he had 11 other brothers that his daddy
He forgot.
He never did nothing for like that. So, of course, they felt some type of way. Now, Joseph had a dream that they was tending sheep. Him and his brothers was tending sheep. He goes to his brothers and he said, hey, I had a dream. We was all out here and we was tending sheep. He said, but your sheep bowed to my sheep. And he said, and then my sheep got up on all legs and they all bowed down to me.
Not the sheep.
The sheep. And all of them bowed down to Joseph. And he said, isn't that dream wonderful? Now, Joseph being innocent, he wasn't thinking about anything like that. But the brothers started to get jealous. They was like, you know what, this dude getting on my nerves.
Oh.
They said, we got to figure out a way to get rid of Joseph. So one day, it was Benjamin, Simeon, and Levi.
Okay.
They were all out and they were tending their sheep. So Jacob tells Joseph, said, go out and check on your brothers for me and tell them that it's time for them to come in. They saw Joseph coming at them. Mm-hmm. They got upset. So Simeon was like, man, I'm so tired of this dude. He said, let's kill him.
His brother?
His brother. He said, let's kill him. So the Benjamin was like, Simeon, man, that's our brother. We can't kill him. He said, yeah, he's annoying, but we don't want to kill him. He said, all right, dear. Then Levi said, hey, he said, let's just take him and let's throw him inside that well.
What?
Yeah, and then forget about him. And then they took the coat off, they threw him in the well. Now, Benjamin, being the oldest brother, he felt kind of bad. He said, you know what? To himself, he said, once we walk away, he said, I'm going to go back to that well and I'm going to go get my brother out of there.
That's right.
Yeah, so he was, he was doing good. But in the process of them throwing him in the well, Simeon and Levi were still standing outside. They saw these travelers coming through. Mm-hmm. And they said, oh, you know what? They said, instead of killing him, let's just sell him to these people. And they did. That's what they did. They sold Joseph into slavery.
Oh,
and then Levi was like, well, won't Benjamin be upset? He said, Benjamin going to be down with this. At least we're not killing him, so
right.
It's good.
Wow.
So they sell Joseph to slavery. They take Joseph's coat. They dip it in some lamb's blood. They tear it all up to pieces, and they take it back to Jacob. And they said, Dad, they said, we found his coat. They said, we think some animals ate Joseph. He's gone. Jacob was, just upset. He was destroyed because he thought he was gone. Turns out he was in prison. So now you got Joseph working for a king named Potiphar. Okay? Potiphar loved Joseph. Joseph was doing everything that he needed to do. He was out there. Now I can imagine that Joseph had to be a good-looking brother. And he had to be built because he worked out in the field. So I can imagine this because Potiphar's wife comes to Joseph and said, ooh-wee. He's like, you sure is fine. He said, you and I need to hook up. I'm just keeping it real.
Right.
And he's like, we need to hook up. Well, Joseph was like, lady, you crazy?
Yeah. He
said, first of all, he's like, you married. Then he said, and the most importantly, I don't want to go against my God. Right. He said, so that is wrong in the eyes of my God. So she gets upset. She goes back and she tells Potiphar all these lies. So, of course, he believes her. he throws Joseph in jail.
No.
So yeah, he does. So Joseph is in jail. He's sitting there, and there are two men. There's a servant of the king, and then there's another guy. They get to talking. They was like, man, I had this crazy dream. He said, now I don't know what it means. Then the servant was like, man, I had the same crazy dream. He said, I just don't know what it means. Now Joseph listened to him. He's like, you know what? He said, tell me about your dream. He said, I'll tell you what they mean. And then they looked at him and they was like, oh, so you know how to interpret dreams? He said, no, not I. He said, my God is going to tell me what the dreams mean. So the servant, he goes in to start telling him about his dream. And he said, hey, you know what? He said, okay. He said, my God told me to tell you this. He said, in 3 days, you're going to get out of prison, and then you're going to go work back for the Pharaoh.
What?
He did. He said, in 3 days. Sure enough, in 3 days, the servant gets out. He goes right back to working for the Pharaoh. Okay, now he's working for the Pharaoh. Now, Joseph had told him, now just remember me when you get out. Remember me and tell your king that I interpret this dream for you.
Okay.
So he forgets all about Joseph. Now Joseph sits in jail for 2 years.
Wow, that's
a long time. Just in jail for doing nothing. So he's in jail. Now Pharaoh, he's having all of these dreams, and he's like, man, I don't know what these dreams mean. They're driving me crazy. Now, all of these people that he got around him, nobody can tell him what the dreams mean.
Right.
Now, the servant remembered that Joseph interpreted his dream. And he said, sir, there's a guy in prison right now that can interpret your dreams.
Wow.
And he said, well, go get this guy. So he calls for Joseph. Now, Joseph goes before the Pharaoh. And the Pharaoh tells Joseph what the dream is. Joseph says, this is what God tells me. He said, you're going to go into a famine of 7 years. Everything's going to be destroyed in 7 years. So he said, now it's time for you to start preparing. Now the king was like, oh man, 7 years. He said, what are we going to do? He said, no. He said, God's giving you an opportunity. He said, because before that famine comes, there's going to be 7 years of plenty. He said, now you normally plant this, and that. He said, now you need to plant a whole lot more so you can make it through the famine. Okay. So because Joseph interpreted that dream, he pushed Joseph over all of the details of planting everything. Mm-hmm. And just like Joseph said, there were 7 years of plenty. They planted seeds after seeds. Their livestock was just flourishing. Everything was just happening.
Wow.
Now, here comes the 7 years of famine. Now, livestock are dying around everywhere. Now, they got enough stuff where they can take care of themselves, and they're also selling it to people that are going through the famine. Okay? So now, here comes Joseph's 3 brothers, Benjamin, Levi, and Simeon. They come and they say, we heard that you guys are selling grain and selling stuff because you guys have plenty. The famine hit us hard. Now, Joseph recognized them.
Wow.
But he didn't even let them know that he recognized them because it had been 10 years. Mm-hmm. So he was like, he said, oh, where'd you guys come from? Are y'all spies? They was like, no. We're letting you know that we need help. We need your help. And he said, did y'all come by yourself? He said, yes. He said, we did. He said, but we have our father and our youngest brother still at the house. He said, okay. He said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give this to you. He said, but the next time you come back, bring your father and your youngest brother.
Wow.
So I say 2 months pass by. They come back again to get more stuff. This time, it's all the brothers, Jacob, and the youngest son.
All 11.
All 11 of them.
Wow.
So they come before Joseph, and he looks at them. And he's overwhelmed. He's like, do y'all not remember me? And he's talking to them. He said, I'm the one that you sold into slavery. And he said, but I'm not mad. He said, because God used me in a mighty way. He said, but I wanted to welcome you guys here. Now you can come and live with me. So they reconnected. Ain't that wonderful? What you got?
Wow. That's some deep
respect.
Baby.
Yeah.
Like some really, really deep respect. Yeah. And so I love this story. Again, I like Joseph. He's one of my people. But what this took me to is we all go through a time in life where we got to start somewhere,
correct,
right? And so I bought different kind of shoes, shoe boxes.
Yeah.
This is a blank shoe box.
Okay.
There's nothing in it. There's a number on the side. It don't have no label.
Yeah.
It's just, it was found. It left behind. It was a hand-me-down. This is what this shoe box represents, right? But sometimes we gotta go through the struggle to get through the result.
Okay,
right?
I like that.
For Joseph, he had it made, right? He had his daddy, who was his favorite. He had his own jacket. It had all the colors on it. Like, he was happy. He was good.
Yeah, he was
so
good.
he went from just this plain box to we jumped up to some bands on
Yeah,
it, right?
right. Okay.
So Joseph thought it was all good, but not knowing his brothers was about to just kind of throw him down to the side. But we go through stuff like that.
Yeah, we do.
Especially you as kids. You go through stuff like that in life where you may feel like everything is good and everything is going right, but then you may have friends talking behind your back, friends saying, this person did this, this person did that. Why did they get this? Why did they get that?
Correct.
And then it kind of brings you back down to a basic kind of feeling.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So then you start feeling back like this, but that's kind of how Joseph felt, because he went from feeling like he was up a little bit to now I'm back to basic and now I'm lost. But guess what he did? He listened to God.
Yes, he did.
And he got respect from the other people.
Yes, he did.
And they never forgot him. Even though that was like, almost 8 years or 10 years later. Think about how God never forgot him after all that time. So we may feel like God is not listening. We may feel like God forgot about us, but our time and God time is two different times. But that comes from patience. And don't be anxious. You have to wait, and you have to wait on God and wait for God to get you where you need to be. Because the next time, what happened with Joseph, he moved on to some Nikes.
Yeah, he did.
He moved on to some Supreme Nikes.
He did.
So if Joseph went from basic to next step, to the ultimate step.
Come on.
What do you think God would do to you?
That's what I'm talking about.
But if you don't wait and seek and watch what God has for you, how are you going to get respect? But you know, they always say you got to give to get respect.
You got to give
respect.
That's what they say.
So this metaphor kind of showed me that we might start out basic. We might get to the next level.
Okay.
But God's level is the ultimate level.
That's what I'm talking about.
And that's how we get there, by waiting on God and seeing what he has for us.
That's good.
And you as a child, you're starting out young, and y'all have the most innocent minds.
That is good. And you know what? It takes me back, because even in that story, they bowed down to Joseph just like he dreamed.
Exactly.
He didn't even want them to. He told them to get up, but they bowed down just like the dream.
But did you see how he forgave them?
Yeah, oh yeah. That's the key.
It is. And as a kid, can you imagine forgiving somebody who did that to you, who just threw you away?
But it was all in God's plan, because he was exhorted through everything that happened to him.
Exactly.
So
I like that.
I like that too. You good?
I'm Gucci.
You got anything else? You Gucci? Okay.
Gucci.
All right. Well, you know what? By the sound of the music, get that out of the way. By the sound of the music, hey, this has been another edition of F3C's Kidzone, The Experience. We thank you guys. We can't do it without you. We will see you next week.
See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a good week.